بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا مدبر الأمور يا باعث من في القبور يا مجري البحور يا ملين الحديد لداود صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بنا ما أنت أهله في الدين والدنيا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear friends. I hope inshallah you are enjoying the month of Ramadan. We are almost towards the end of the RSR period, which is sad. Only a couple of weeks left of Ramadan, and for this reason I have made this lecture the last lecture, so for you guys to give you a chance to catch up with your previous assignments, and inshallah so you can be on time and finish before the end of Ramadan. So the Quranic verse of the week, we chose the first few verses from Surah Al-Talaq, and the topic of this week is about tawakkul and trust in Allah. So the verse say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out, and will provide for him from where he does not expect. And whoever relies upon Allah, then Allah is sufficient for him. Very powerful and beautiful and meaningful verses. Inshallah, you'll discover the significance of them, inshallah, by the end of this lecture. Inshallah, you already know them, and this is just revision. But I thought to discuss this topic with you guys because it is relevant to everyone. Maybe it's the common sense, maybe something that you don't find it new, but it is very important element to have in our life. All of us, we go through different sorts of hardships and calamities, be it illness, be it like, for example, difficulties in relationship, for example, with people, families, friends, or it could be with our studies or work, any sort of difficulties, and sometimes it could be, spiritual deprivation, which is so painful. Like, you feel like the days passes so hard. So this is also another type of difficulty. So or even like it could be an obstacle in our way that it's preventing us from achieving our goals or following our plans. So different people have different let's say hardships. So therefore, like having tawakkul and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala absolutely help us in such situation, and developing this trait of being a person of tawakkul, or as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls them, al-mutawakkilin. Like it makes us a very strong and steadfast people who fear nothing but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is, I thought this is very important to discuss with you guys, and inshallah it will benefit you, inshallah. As you can see, these verses beautifully link together and address the issue of tawakkul. We thought to divide them into three sections to make it easier to understand and relate them to our life. We thought the first section is focusing on fearing Allah. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out. So no matter how cloudy your days are, there must be somewhere, some spot in the sky that will open and let the sun rays go through and shine through your day and change the situation, and your whole day will change. So what this part of the verse is teaching us is that we shouldn't put our will or do something against the will of Allah just for the sake of trying to overcome some sort of hardship we have. For example, obviously a poor person wouldn't go steal or do something haram in order to bring some sort of sustenance to his family. This person instead should have trust in Allah, should rely on Allah, should have patience and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that makes his improve his situation, and Allah will definitely help him. And that is what the verse telling us. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. So if the person instead goes steal and do haram things, his situation will even becomes worse and worse, will not become any better. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us, that we should rely on Him no matter how complicated the situation. So taqwa, fearing Allah, is the first element of tawakkul. The second part of the verse continues and goes to Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَيَرْزَقَهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ, and will provide for him from where he does not expect. So this part of the verse is telling us that tawakkul brings miraculous and unexpected aid. It is so beautiful that you look at it, that basically the verse is telling us Allah fulfills our needs beyond our expectations, from nowhere. Like the mind cannot even comprehend how Allah make things happen or even made easy for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the impossible become possible for people who have absolute trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we've got perfect example from Quran in the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. We probably you have heard of the story, and but I'll just mention it for you to help understand the what this part of the verse is talking about. So the verse says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَلَمَّا تَرَاءَ الْجَمْعَانِ قَالَ أَصْحَابُ مُوسَى إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ قَالَ كَلَّا إِنَّ مَعِيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينِ. So and when the two companies saw one another, the companions of Moses said, "Indeed, we are to be overtaken." Moses said, "No, indeed, with me is my Lord. He will guide me." So beautiful, so powerful verses. Like you probably you may have already heard the story of Prophet Moses when he took his people and to protect them away from Pharaoh and his soldiers. So this verse is talking about where the instance where like they left away from the city and they reached to almost like the sea was in front of them. However, unfortunately, Pharaoh and his soldiers followed them and they could see them, so they were so worried. The followers of Prophet Moses, they were so worried, like, what's gonna happen for us? They were so horrified because Pharaoh has, like, promised them that he will, cut their legs and hands and like kill their children and all these sort of like horrifying promises because they believed in Prophet Moses. So therefore it was so hard for them to see themselves in this situation. The enemy is behind them and the sea is in front of them, and regardless to that, in the midst of this incredibly tough situation, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he said, "No, my God is with me. My Lord is with me. He will show me a way out. He will guide me." So like it's very amazing. It's like this beautiful Quranic example teaches us that no matter how hard and difficult it may seem, Allah is capable and will definitely show us the way out. So maybe one of you would say, well, this is a story of a prophet, and I didn't tell you what happened then. So so after like that, they reached to this stage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to Prophet Musa alayhi salam to hit the ground, and the sea was open to them, and they were able to escape from Pharaoh and his soldiers. And once they went to the second end of, or second part of the second side of the sea, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has merged the two sides of the sea again, and Pharaoh and his soldiers were sunk and they were all perished, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected Prophet Musa alayhi salam and his soldiers. It's so amazing. It's so, like, imagine yourself in such a situation, like you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't expect that what the sea will open, like something like unbelievable. Yes, with tawakkul and with the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is possible because Allah is capable to do anything. Allah will do things His way. Allah will find a way to help us out and to help us overcome the difficulties and the hardship that we see. Again, as I was just going to say, that one of you would say probably, well, this is a story of a prophet. Prophet Musa, is a prophet, and this is his miracle. So, like, we're not gonna have something like that. But I don't agree with you, because like the ability of Allah or the qudra of Allah is not preserved for prophets. It's for everyone. All what it takes is believe and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as we said, taqwa, we should keep our the will of Allah first, give the priority to the will of Allah first, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we do what we are supposed to do, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will helps us out from like with our situations. So personally, this verse teaches me that miracles are possible through tawakkul and relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a very amazing. Things comes from nowhere. You don't expect, like the source that Allah will bring you from it, the relief for you, like can never come to your mind. And like we have stories, like like every one of us probably have heard a story from from relatives, from friends, from family. They have come through some sort of difficulty, illness or poverty, or whatever hardship they went through, and they share their own miracles with us. So everything is possible. Like every one of us would have their own miracle if we have some sort of hardship, and we have to qul Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us through our life. If we understand this meaning, we will absolutely see miracles on a daily basis. So that was the part of the verse that is showing us that tawakkul it brings miraculous aid. The last part of the verse is showing us that Allah's promised for us. So وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. It is so amazing that it's basically telling us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that if you trust in me, if you rely on me, I will take care of your affairs. Allah is promising us here, and Allah's promise is not like anyone else. Like this verse is so powerful. Like if you look at it and you see, like, let's say you are going through some sort of difficulty or hardship, and a king or a president or the prime minister or like any person who has a great authority comes and tell you, don't worry, I will take care of your affair. Don't worry, your affair will be resolved. Obviously, you won't panic anymore. You'll be relieved. You'll be like the king himself is taking care of my, of my problem, or the big person with the big authority, who everything is in his hand, is taking care of my affairs. So why would I worry? But see, in this verse, Allah is promising us that He Himself will take care of our affairs if we have tawakkul. So it is like just saying powerful is not enough. Like these verses, when we read them with this understanding, like you don't feel you have concerns anymore. You don't feel you have a problem anymore, because Allah is telling you that don't worry. Your affairs are in my hand, and I promise you, I will take care of your problem. I will take care, and I will take you out from it, from nowhere, from something that you don't even expect that it's gonna happen. So what lessons do these verses carry to us? Basically, we should never ever give up. We should never ever lose hope, because no matter how complicated it may seem or difficult it may be, Allah is there. Allah is supporting us, and Allah is helping us, and absolutely we will never be left out. Another thing that we should be careful with when we interpret these verses is that we also, yes, we should definitely have tawakkul on Allah, but we also should do our part as well. What I mean by this, I might give you an example to understand this better. For example, you have someone sick, and this person doesn't take the medicine and says, well, I rely on Allah and I trust Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me shifa, and keep praying. Well, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give him shifa like this person has to do his part as well. And what I mean by this, he has to take the medicine, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the effect in this medicine and will give him the shifa and improve his health. Or another example, for example, like a poor person sits down and do nothing and don't go out for work, don't seek any job, and then sit down and says, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna, I rely on Allah, I have tawakkul ala Allah, and Allah is going to provide sustenance to my family. Well, no, Allah doesn't help such people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help people who are trying their best, who are walking towards the means for them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them come out of their difficulty. Obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us whether there are means or not, but we should try whatever we can do and try our best, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us through these things. It's like someone sitting inside the house and not exposing himself for the mercy of Allah. So we need to come outside the house and expose ourselves to the rain, expose ourselves to the mercy of Allah through, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us resolve our problem. And another very important thing that we need to be aware of while thinking and learning about this topic is that we should always have tawakkul, whether we have a need or not, whether we have a problem, a hardship or not. We should, like, regardless of our state, we should always have tawakkul. I give you an example. For example, someone is healthy, he thinks that he's alright, and only ask for rely on Allah or have tawakkul on Allah only when he is sick. Well, yeah, but it should be all the time. It's not just when I am in need for that. Because what I'm trying to say is that we should rely in Allah, not the means. And what are these means? These means could be health, could be knowledge, could be the financial status. Regardless to any of these, whether they are there or not, we should have tawakkul, because our tawakkul should be, our trust should be in Allah, not in them. So if they are there, doesn't mean that, okay, we are fine. No, we still not fine, because our trust is Allah and not the things, because things comes and go, and our trust should remain constant in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll leave you now with a very beautiful a break, which is kind of relevant to tawakkul. Enjoy it for a couple of minutes, and then we will come back and learn a few things about Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. Very beautiful and very meaningful. Don't despair and never lose hope, because Allah is always by your side. I hope that I was able to explain this matter of tawakkul, in a degree, in a good sense, because it's very like, when I think about it, it gives that feeling of strength, that I fear nothing. Allah is with me. So amazing. Now we should jump to the next part of our session, the virtue of the week. And the victory for peace. It sounds so exciting and interesting, especially with the picture that I have added for you. It's very peaceful, which is relevant to the topic. We will have some reflections on the life of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, and see what we can learn from the life of Imam al-Kadhim, which is full of lessons and wisdom. So Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam was known with the quality of tolerance and forgiveness. As you know, he is the 7th Imam after Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he is the father of Imam Musa, Ali ibn Musa Rida. So just like to give you your head around the order of the Imam. So after Imam al-Sadiq comes Imam al-Kadhim, and then Imam al-Rida. So one of the qualities that he was very famous to have, as I mentioned, forgiveness and tolerance, and that's why he was titled Al-Imam al-Kadhim, which means the suppressor of fury. And for this reason, he was like so known. He always had the smile face, and like never, no one had seen any rough behavior from him. And he was a real life reminder of the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who said, "The faithful man keeps his grief inside and keep his smile on his face." So through his actions, he encourages us and he teaches us to deal with kindness and benevolence with our enemy. And like we have some section from Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha, where Imam Ali instructs us to subdue the enemy with benevolence, since it is more effective than vanquishing the enemy with force. So through his actions, Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam is enlivening the teachings and the guidance from our prophets and imams to in the way how we should deal with our enemy. But however, that shouldn't be all the time. At times or at situations where the enemy is actually taking advantage of this behavior, by being kind to them, or by being, dealing with gentleness with them, makes them encouraged to continue mischief. At this time, we should be strict. So strictness is permissible when the enemy's continuous conduct justify that we should react. We should go against them as some situations. However, whenever the situation allows, we know through our imams that there is a great dignity in dealing with the enemies in gentleness, because that will always prove a valid protect against the enemy and give them no ground to justify their aggression or whatever wrong act they're doing. So the beautiful thing that we can learn from the life of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam is that these behaviors, these tolerance, patience, and suppression of anger and fury can be put into practice in real life. That's what Imam al-Kadhim, that is what the title of the Imam is shouting. Like, it is achievable despite how difficult or painful or hurtful it may be. Like, for example, sometimes you do something, and then let's say you cooked something, and then your friend says to you, oh, that's just disgusting, I can't eat that. Or maybe you draw something, and then your one of your siblings says, oh, that is just ugly. You can't just stand there and say nothing and be very tolerant and suppress your anger and say nothing. And bear in mind, that person who said that thing for you is not an enemy. It is, one of your friends. But like, you can't keep it because it's hurt you. You feel that it touched your dignity, and it touching your pride, so you have to say something. But the Imam is teaching us to do that with all the people, even with our enemy. Even with our enemy, we should be tolerant. We should be patient. We should try to be instead of being saying big words and having big fight or react to them, we should try to be gentle and kind, and don't have immediate or constant reply, if you like, to their verbal attack, if that was a verbal attack. So basically, like, that's from the title of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, we can learn like these beautiful lessons in the way how we can deal with our enemies. And also Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, through these behaviors, teaching us that we can be great leaders, not just by saying big words and flexing muscles, rather by achieving the right results through respect and peace, through dealing in a good manner with good behavior with our enemies. So what lessons we can learn from the life of Imam al-Kadhim? Just to sum up, that we learned that what's the meaning of the title al-Kadhim, so the suppressor of fury, and that Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam was known with these two main qualities, tolerance and forgiveness. And also we learned that enemy should be treated with benevolence instead of force, except in situations where the enemy is taking advantage of that kind of treatments. So at this situation we should be strict. And also the Imam, as I said, teaches us to for us to be true leaders, and one of the great people, successful people in the society, that it's not done by saying big words and flexing muscle, rather by achieving the right results through respect and peace. We reached to the end of our session, and summary of the week. This week we have learned about one of the very beautiful traits that it's very important to have in our life, which is tawakkul. And we learned that fearing Allah brings miraculous aids, and with tawakkul, Allah Himself promises us to take care of our affairs. And we have also had a brief look at the life of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, and from his title we learned that we should be tolerant and deal with kindness with people, including our enemies. So we have reached not just the end of this session, but unfortunately, sadly, it is the end of this RSR period. I would like to thank all of you who listened to us, and thanks for your attention and for your participation in this RSR. Keeps us in your dua. Like it's me, like I'm the only one who talking to you throughout like these days in the lectures, but behind this are very dedicated people who help in preparing the materials and in preparing the slides. So it's not only me, so include them in your du'as. I hope that you have enjoyed our company, and that you have learned something, inshallah. And at the end, I would advise you, something, my dear friends, to that if you have learned something from this period, bring it up to the next level and use your time wisely. And just listen to that voice inside you. We have talked at the beginning of this series, inside you there is a good voice. Always let it go, give it life, don't suppress it inside you, because it's that voice which enlighten your life. And I have added this picture particularly at the end of the slides. It's like a reaction to the way how I feel when I read your answers, when I mark your assignments. So inshallah this period of RSR helped you, and increase your knowledge in somehow, and the most important thing, improve your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So hope all the best for you guys, and I will leave you with a very beautiful nasheed which encourages you to use your time wisely. So we'll leave you to that, and inshallah I look forward to hear from you soon. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
سؤال لو أن لعمري ميزانا ما المكيال أيقاس العمر بأيام أم أعوام فتأملت جلست أفكر فيما يذكر حين يقال رحم الله فلان كان وكان وكان لن تذكر إلا الأعمال أعمالنا وبها سمت أسماؤنا نمضي وتبقى هنا أعمالنا وبها سمت أسماؤنا نمضي وتبقى هنا آثارنا لن أنتظر الفرصة حتى ترأف بي بل أصنعها بالإصرار الملتهب لن أقضي وقتي باللوم وبالعتاب فكثير مروا وقليل ممن ذكروا حين يقال رحم الله فلان كان وكان وكان لن تذكر إلا الأعمال أعمالنا وبها سمت أسماؤنا نمضي وتبقى هنا أعمالنا وبها سمت أسماؤنا نمضي وتبقى هنا آثارنا ما أجمل أن تحيا عمرا غال وثمين بعطائك تسمو أيامك تزداد سنين. لا تسل الأيام متى أبدأ بالتغيير. الآن فخير الوقت الآن يحين. بادر واستبق الخير ستسعد ذاك يقين.